Hello ladies and gents, my name is Pegasus, and if you're anything like me, you're probably getting a little bit tired of playing the same old standard maps over and over again. If this is the case, then let me introduce you to some new ones made by the community. These are all custom maps which are completely free, so there's absolutely no reason why you shouldn't give these a go. In this video I've put together a list of the ones I like most. You can check these out in the links in the video description down below. Starting off, we have the two-player map Enclosure. This one is approximately 80 kilometers wide, and as you can see it has quite a nice layout. There are plenty of resources strewn across it, giving you lots of mining options. You can also see that in the centre we have a band of cloud extending from left to right. This actually does block sensors, so it's quite efficient at hiding ships also. Now, starting off on each stat position, you have 6 small asteroids available. And then to the left of each player you've also got a secondary point which contains 1 large asteroid and 2 small asteroids. And last of all you have a tertiary point to the far left of each player which contains 4 small asteroids. As you can see, this is mirrored on each side, so both players get the same access to the same amount of resources. Overall, it's a very well laid out map, and it has a lot of potential for interesting 1v1 games. Next up, we have a 4-player map called Defiance. This one is approximately 70 kilometers wide. To start off with, each player gets access to 2 medium and 2 small asteroids, as you can see here. And as a secondary resource spot, each player gets access to 3 smaller asteroids further up. Finally, in the centre you can find 8 rather large asteroids, and you can definitely see this being a major combat zone as each of the players fight it out for control over this huge resource pocket. So this is definitely one focal point to look out for if you play this map. And once more, this is another rather simple map, but well designed all the same. Moving on now to one of my all-time favourites. This is the 4-player Demon's Den, coming in at about 60 kilometers wide. This one, right off the start, you can see has a very unique look about it. You can see that interwoven series of dust clouds. These ones aren't actually damaging, so you can fly through them without any problems at all. To start off with, each player has access to 1 medium and 4 small asteroids. And just behind each player there's also 1 medium and 3 small asteroids. Finally, in the centre you have a collection of 1 large, 3 medium and 3 small asteroids. So just like in the last map, you can see this being a major combat zone where people are going to try and fight it out for those extra RUs. And as you can see there as well, it's very symmetrical once again, so very balanced. And just look at this view. Next in line we have the 4-player Fog of War, and as you can see this one is completely covered in dust, so your standard sensors just aren't going to cut it, hence the name of the map. As you can imagine, this one is going to lend itself greatly towards covert acts and insidious tactics, so brace yourself. Unless you've got those proximity sensors up, you're probably not going to see what's coming until it's too late. There is plenty of room to manoeuvre as this map comes in at about 85 kilometers wide. To start off with, each player has access to 5 small asteroids. Behind each player you can also find 3 small pieces of debris. And moving forward towards the centre of the map you can find 2 medium-sized asteroids and 2 small asteroids. And finally in the centre a further 4 pieces of debris. You might also notice these large asteroids towards the edges of the maps. These ones are purely aesthetic, so don't bother wasting your time sending out mobile refineries or carriers. Altogether, a very different type of map, and it offers a fresh type of play. Next we have the 4-player Hegera, and as you guessed it, this one is taking place in high orbit above the homeworld. This one is on the smaller side, coming in at around 45 kilometers wide. Each player starts off with 2 medium and 2 small asteroids. Then in the centre you have 2 large, 2 medium and 3 small asteroids. Aside from the starting RU spot, the centre is the only other area available, so you're going to see this be a major contention point where people are going to try and battle it out early on in order to gain resource control. The next 4-player map is Rage 3D, which comes in at 70 kilometers in diameter. As you can see, this one has quite a lot of verticality to it. Starting off, each player has access to 2 medium and 2 small asteroids. You then have these secondary RU patches, which are found either above or below each mothership depending on their position. These patches contain 1 large, 1 medium and 1 small asteroid. In the centre of the map you can find a total of 4 pieces of debris. And on either side of that, above and below, you can find asteroid fields containing 1 small and 1 large asteroid. Each team starts off with 1 player on the main level, and then one team has a player below that level whilst the opposite team has a player above that level. The first of our 6-player maps is Backyard Foe, and this one has a very interesting idea behind it. Essentially you have 2 members from each team which start off in the centre facing off against each other, but behind each of these pairs you have a member of the enemy team. This opens them up to attack from both in front and behind. In the start positions, each player has access to 1 large and 3 small asteroids. In the centre you also have 1 large asteroid surrounded by 6 small asteroids. To the side you have another 4 small asteroids on each side, followed by 1 large and 1 small asteroid. And even further out you have access to 1 medium and 1 small asteroid. There are a lot of resources available on the map, so if you're in this back position and you want to relocate, you can do so. Next up we have Fields of Sorrow. This one is another more vertical based map where you have 1 player on each team elevated above the normal plane. Then you have 2 players, 1 from each team on the normal plane and 1 player from each team below that plane. It comes in at around 60 kilometers in diameter, and the center player on each team has 5 small asteroids positioned just behind them. In the start positions you have 1 large asteroid and 2 small asteroids available. And then off to the sides you have 4 small asteroids. And then in between each team you have 2 medium and 1 small asteroids. That's on both sides of the map. And as you can see, each team has a staggered line. So overall, another interesting map layout, and just something a little bit different to what you get in the standard maps. Keeping with the theme of vertical maps, we next have Finger's Wrath. This one is relatively small, coming in at around 40 kilometers in diameter, and this one lends itself to faster, tighter combat.
Enemy probe detected.
Each start position comes with 3 medium-sized asteroids. And in between each pair of motherships are 4 small asteroids. This is the rather impressive looking Gates to Eternity, coming in at around 100 kilometers in diameter. Each start position comes with 1 large and 2 small asteroids. To the side of this you have 2 medium and 1 small asteroids. And then further back you have 4 smaller asteroids. And to the right of these you've got 2 large asteroids. And then at the front of that you have 1 large asteroid and 2 smaller ones, and this is where one of the enemies will spawn. At the end of this dust cloud there are 3 small asteroids, but you can't reach these because these are outside the map bounds.
Enemy probe detected.
In the very centre of the map you have 2 medium and 4 small asteroids, which are hidden by this line of dust. Opposite the 2 centre players are 2 enemy players, and the 3rd enemy player, as I mentioned earlier, is found just on the corner of this dust cloud here. This next map is called Subversion, and the idea behind this one is that you have 2 players in each team which are closer together than the 3rd one. Now these 2 players are expected to rotate around and try and take out the opposite player, which will be separated from his teammates. Whilst this is happening, the opposite team is doing exactly the same thing to the first team. In the centre starting position there's 1 large and 3 small asteroids. The same is also true for the right hand position, but on the left there are 2 medium and 1 small asteroids. Behind all 3 players you can find 4 small asteroids. And to the far left you'll also find 4 small asteroids. And to the left of the centre you can find 1 medium and 2 small asteroids.
Detected. Enemy probe detected.
Opposite this lone player on this side you can find 2 of the enemy players, one on the RU spot just here, and a second one just below it here. The 3rd player is on the right. And as I mentioned, the idea is these players rotate clockwise to try and take out their adversaries. That's the concept at least, but in practice, it's not always the case. Next up we have Line of Fire, which is easily the largest map featured so far, coming in at 150 kilometers in diameter. Each start position comes with 4 small asteroids. To the rear of this you can find 1 medium and 4 small asteroids. And then off to the left here you can find at the back 1 medium and 3 small asteroids. To the left there's 1 large and 2 small asteroids. And these resources are basically mirrored on each side of the map. In the centre are 4 groupings of asteroids, each one consists of 1 medium and 3 small asteroids. There are also a number of dust clouds which you can use for cover. Next up we have Radiation Belt, which comes in at around 90 kilometers in diameter. Each player starts off with 1 medium and 3 small asteroids, and they also have a second RU spot available to them which has 1 medium and 3 more small asteroids.
Enemy probe detected.
Through the centre of the map you can see this huge radiation cloud with 2 small gaps, one on each end to allow passage of ships, and the map is completely mirrored, so the resources are identical on either side. Next up we have Tanis Assault. This one is around 108 kilometers wide. Each start position comes with 2 medium and 2 small asteroids. As a secondary RU spot, each player gets access to 4 small asteroids. Across the centre line you can find 1 medium and 3 small asteroids, one on each side of the map. And in the centre you can find 1 large, 1 medium and 3 small asteroids. You can probably expect those resource points across the centre line to become major combat zones as people make a grab for those extra resources. Another one of my favourites, this one is Angel Wing, coming in at around 75 kilometers in diameter. To start off with, each player gets access to 1 large and 2 medium asteroids. The only other resources available are all clustered in the central region. As you can see, there are groups of 3 small asteroids surrounding the centre. Off to the right here, you've also got 3 medium asteroids, and this is mirrored on the left side as well.
Enemy probe detected. Enemy probe detected.
The lack of resources at the start positions makes this map really interesting because it forces the players into the middle to secure more. This rather colourful map is armed for burial, coming in at around 80 kilometers in diameter. On the start position, you can expect to find 4 small asteroids for each player. And to the side, you can find another 4 small asteroids. Moving into the first of the outer rings, we can find 1 medium and 4 small asteroids. There are 6 of these in total, spread equally among the outer ring. On the inner ring, you can find groups of 3 small asteroids. And in the very centre, you can find 3 medium-sized asteroids. This interesting looking map is called Cold to Arms, coming in at around 85 kilometers in diameter. Each start position comes with 1 medium and 3 small asteroids. And as a secondary point, each player has access to 1 medium and 3 small asteroids. The outermost resource point here contains 1 medium and 2 small asteroids. Moving into the centre, you can find 2 large, 2 medium and 3 small asteroids. The enemy players are positioned on identical points on the opposite side of the map. Next in line we have Crimson Bond, but this one is not your standard Crimson Bond. This one has been modified. For a start, it's quite small. It's only 60 kilometers in diameter compared to the original, which was around 100 kilometers. And aside from that, you've also got a lot of resources which are scattered throughout this map. In the starting positions, each player has access to 2 medium and 1 small asteroids. Aside from that, you've also got access to 1 medium and 1 small asteroid.
Detected.
Then off to the sides of the map from the centre you have 2 large asteroids on each side. And in the centre you can find 2 more large asteroids. Coming up next is Fallen Lords. This one is around 90 kilometers in diameter. Now in the start positions, each player gets access to 1 medium and 3 smaller asteroids. And as a secondary, you have access to 1 medium and 3 small asteroids.
Unidentified probe detected.
Moving into the center, you can get access to 6 small asteroids here. Before you reach the center pocket though, there is an additional one which contains 1 medium and 4 small asteroids. This next map is another of my favourites. This one is MicroBond, and it is a tiny 20 kilometers in diameter, so this makes for some very in-your-face close combat. In the start position, each player starts off with 1 medium and 3 small asteroids. Off to the side, you've got a further 3 small asteroids. Then far out to the left and right, you can find 1 large asteroid surrounded by 3 small asteroids. The centre of the map also has 3 large asteroids. This map can be a lot of fun, especially if you play with carriers only and if you're not afraid of being a stone's throw away from your enemy. This next map is Sarum Badlands, and this one is around 80 kilometers in diameter. In the start positions, you have access to 1 medium and 3 small asteroids. Then off to the left here, you have access to a further 6 small asteroids. On the opposite end, you have access to 1 medium and 4 small asteroids. And then going into the middle here, on the right side, you have access to another 6 small asteroids. And that's mirrored on the opposite side there. On the far right, you have this huge asteroid which you can't mine, which has hyperspace inhibitors. These ones aren't actually functional, so you don't need to worry about those. And to the left of that, you have access to 1 medium and 4 small asteroids. This next map is also 80 kilometers in diameter, and it's Shield Evolution. For an idea, take the standard Shield map that comes with the game, put it on steroids and make it for 6 players, and this is pretty much what you'd get. In the start position, you've got 6 small asteroids available. Then as a secondary RU spot, you've got access to 1 medium and 2 small asteroids. Out to the far side, you've got 1 large and 2 medium asteroids, followed by 1 smaller one. And then off to the far right, you've got 3 small asteroids. In the center here, you've got 1 large, followed by 1 medium and 1 small asteroid, and the same thing is true for the other end. Overall, the designer of this one did a great job taking the original and building on it to make it compatible for 6 players. Here is Vanguard. This one is around 65 kilometers in diameter. On the start position, you can find 2 medium and 2 small asteroids. Over to the far left here, you can find another 2 medium and 2 small asteroids. And then back in the center here, you can see 6 small asteroids. Now, over on the far right here, we have 2 pockets available. The first one has 5 small asteroids. And the second one has 1 medium and 4 small asteroids. In the very center of the map, you can find 1 large asteroid. And this one is surrounded by pieces of debris. The first of the last 3 maps in this video is Vega Dust Base, with that iconic Vaygr base in the centre. This one's on the smaller side, coming in at around 50 kilometers in diameter. On the start positions, you have access to 1 medium and 3 small asteroids. Then over on the right here, you have access to another medium and 3 small asteroids. And then in the dead center, you can see the station itself. You can't attack this, it's just for aesthetics. And above and below it, you have more resources. Above, you have 4 small asteroids. And the same is mirrored down below. And the enemies can be found across from here in identical positions. Coming now to the final 2 maps, we have XENOphobic. This one is very well known and loved by the old Homeworld veterans, so you should definitely give this one a try. Size-wise, it comes to around 60 kilometers in diameter. In the start position, you can find 1 medium and 3 small asteroids to start off with. Just behind this, in the dust clouds, you can find 1 large, 2 medium and 2 small asteroids. Moving over to this left dust cloud, you can find 1 large, 2 medium and 2 small asteroids. Over here you have the resources for that third player, which is 1 medium and 3 small, and then further on you have 1 large, 2 medium and 2 more small asteroids. For the enemy positions, they actually spawn in around here, the second one here, and the third one over here. In the centre you'll find 1 medium and 8 small asteroids there. And finally, to finish off with, I've got an 8-player version of Crimson Bond. This one is 120 kilometers in diameter. On the start positions, you have 1 medium and 3 small asteroids.
Enemy probe detected.
Moving over to the left side, you've got a further 3 small asteroids.
Resource collector awaiting orders.
Then moving up towards the middle, you've got another 4 small asteroids.
Enemy probe detected.
Moving over to the far left now, you've got 1 large asteroid and 3 small asteroids. And in the center, you have 3 large asteroids clustered together. As you can see at the side, those asteroids are mirrored. And for the front right player, there's also 4 small asteroids available.
Enemy probe detected.
That brings us to the end of the video. Hopefully you like the maps that I picked out, and I look forward to seeing you guys in them online. If you have some maps to recommend, let me know in the comment section down below, and I'll be sure to check those out. And if you enjoyed this video, why not give it a like and subscribe, that way you'll know as soon as I release new content. As always guys, take care and good hunting.